The rain was pouring hard that night, the kind that drowns out the world and makes even the bravest souls hesitate before stepping outside. In a small, forgotten corner of a rundown American town, a 12-year-old boy named Ethan sat on the steps of an old community gym. His hoodie was soaked through, his lip bleeding, and his eyes, once bright with dreams of baseball, were empty now, hollowed out by fear. Inside, his coach's voice still echoed off the walls, cruel and sharp, the sound of another object hitting the floor following right after. Ethan had learned to flinch before the sound came. Tonight wasn't the first time his coach, his supposed mentor, had crossed the line. But tonight, for the first time, someone saw. Before we dive deeper into this powerful, true life-inspired story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Speaks. Your support helps us keep sharing stories that remind the world that compassion still exists. Ethan was one of those quiet kids everyone overlooked, the kind of boy who stayed behind after practice to collect stray baseballs, who never complained, never fought back, and never told anyone what really happened when everyone else went home. His mother, a nurse who worked double shifts, believed the coach was doing her son a favor by training him privately. She never knew that behind the gym's locked doors, her boy endured insults, slaps, and sometimes worse, all under the pretense of toughening him up. That night, though, the old janitor of the gym, a gruff man named Harold, happened to forget his jacket inside. He came back just in time to hear the coach shouting words no grown man should ever throw at a child. Then came the thud. Then silence. Harold froze, then opened the door quietly. What he saw made his blood boil. Ethan lying on the floor, his small hands trembling. His coach standing over him with that same cruel smirk Harold had seen too many times in his life. The janitor had been in the army once. He'd seen men like that before, bullies who preyed on the weak. Harold didn't say a word. He helped Ethan up, told him to go home, and promised he'd handle it. But what Harold did next would change everything. Harold had a past that few knew about. Before his quiet life as a janitor, before his service in the army, Harold had been part of something bigger, something loud, rough, and loyal to the bone. He'd been a member of the Hells Angels motorcycle club. He'd walked away from that life decades ago, trading the roar of engines for the quiet hum of mops and fluorescent lights. But that night, staring at Ethan's swollen face, he felt that old fire return. He picked up his phone, scrolled through contacts he hadn't touched in years, and sent a single message. A child's being hurt. Need you tomorrow. That was all it said. He didn't expect anyone to answer. But by morning, the street outside the gym thundered with the sound of engines. 100 Harley-Davidsons, black and chrome, lined up like a steel wall. The sight was unreal. The town had never seen anything like it. Old ladies peered through curtains, kids ran to the sidewalks, and even the police stayed quiet as the Hells Angels rolled in. Men with tattoos, leather vests, and hearts of fire stood shoulder to shoulder in the rain. They weren't there for revenge, they were there for justice. Harold stood at the front, helmet in hand, his gray beard dripping with rain. When Ethan arrived, walking slowly beside his mother, the boy's eyes widened. For the first time in his life, he felt safe. The coach showed up a few minutes later, his smirk fading as he saw the scene before him. The Angels didn't say a word. They didn't need to. Their silence was louder than any threat. The coach tried to speak, to explain, but no one cared to hear. Harold stepped forward and told him that the town knew now, that the police were on their way, and that if he ever touched another child again, every man in that lineup would make sure justice found him, one way or another. The coach was pale as paper by the time the sirens arrived. Ethan's story spread across the internet like wildfire. Photos of the Angels surrounding the small gym went viral, with people calling it the most beautiful act of brotherhood and protection ever seen. Reporters wanted interviews. People donated money to help Ethan get therapy and continue his baseball dream. And the Hells Angels, often misunderstood and labeled as outlaws, became symbols of unexpected goodness. But behind all the noise, the real transformation happened quietly. Ethan, who had once been terrified of adults, started healing. Harold visited him every week, teaching him how to fix bikes, telling him stories of the road, and showing him that not all strength comes with fists. The Angels sent him gifts, baseball gloves, helmets, and sometimes letters signed only with, "Ride safe, little brother." Slowly, the boy learned to smile again. Months passed, and Ethan joined a new baseball team. His new coach treated every kid with respect, and Ethan played with a fire no one had seen before. Every time he stepped up to bat, he looked toward the road, half expecting to see a row of motorcycles gleaming in the distance. Sometimes he thought he heard that familiar rumble just for a moment, and he'd smile, knowing they were still watching out for him. Years later, when Ethan graduated high school, he gave a speech that made the whole town cry. He talked about pain, kindness, and what it meant to have angels that didn't wear wings but leather and steel. Sometimes, he said, his voice trembling, heroes don't come from heaven, they come on motorcycles. The crowd erupted in applause, but Harold, standing in the back with tears in his eyes, just smiled quietly. The boy he'd once carried out of a dark gym was now standing tall, strong, and unbroken. And that, more than anything, was the justice they had all come for. So many people think the world is full of cruelty. That kindness is gone, but it only takes one act. One person, to light a fire that spreads hope everywhere. That day, a gang the world feared became the guardians of a small boy. And in doing so, they reminded everyone that real strength is not about power. It's about protecting those who can't protect themselves. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Your engagement helps us share more real-life stories of compassion, courage, and second chances that deserve to be heard. And if you believe that kindness can come from the most unexpected places, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.